Well, here goes nothing. Right. This is where I'm spending the next few hours of my life, I guess. Allow me to set the scene for you a little bit so we're all on the same page. According to folklore in Skegness, there was a guy named Richard Hamilton back in 1942 that bought this mansion for him and his wife, originally with the intention to flip it for a bit of cash. And unfortunately, one night, a burglar broke in, or at least that's what they thought, but they could find no signs of a break-in in this house, and as you can see, it's pretty much completely intact. Hearing the shattered glass, Mr. Hamilton came to do a bit of investigation, and one thing led to another, and him and his wife ended up falling down the stairs, both with broken necks. It was an insane tragedy and the house has been boarded off for years. So I, very legally, broke in and have decided to do some investigations of my own to see if there's any remnants of the Hamlin's time in this house. So that's what I'm gonna go do. But you see, this wasn't the Hamiltons' only house, this was secondary property. It was bought by the Hamiltons originally, again, to flip for cash, but they ended up liking so much that they ended up staying. Perfectly fine residency, until they miraculously died, both falling down both sets of stairs. So I'm approximately standing where the collision would have happened that potentially broke Mr. Hamilton's neck. Isn't that a pleasant thing to think about? And in recent years it's been reported that there's been ghost sightings and haunted activity happening within this house, this mansion. So, again, legally break in and now it's my job to figure out what's happening. So I say, we go exploring. Just me and you today, buddy, old pal of mine. So, happy belated Halloween. That seems like a good place to start, doesn't it? Huh. The place has been abandoned for a minimum of 70 years and the candles are lit. Which is weird because you think if a place has been left abandoned for 70 years that something as simple as wind would have taken them out by now. Hello? 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 Is anybody in here? This shit's getting just a little creepy. Hello? There's nothing here. What was that noise? Couldn't tell if it was glass breaking or a woman shrieking, but there was something there, I'm sure of it. Aye. What are you gonna do? The next doorway. Sure, these rooms will have interesting stories to tell at the very least, right? Maybe I'm delusional. Corridor doors. Try saying that 4 times fast. I wonder what's behind these. Try this door first. The first door in front of me, isn't it? Wow. An old library. The fireplace is burning. There's open books on the desk. The pages don't look that new. Oh! Well, let's have a looky here then, eh? That's weird. These books have this address on them, but they don't belong to the Hamiltons. They belong to a family called the McEthelberts. Robert McEthelbert. Huh. Right, well that book's just a weird possession for the McHamiltons to keep hold of. Thing is, the McEthelberts are not a very significant family. They're not royals, they're not interesting in many ways, but they are important when it comes to house letting, and that would be the only reason I can think the Hamilton family kept the book. They were planning to let this house originally, and the McEthelberts brought the tradition of letting houses and the landlord scheme that we currently know and brought it from other cities in England back to Skegness. They did start the first firm made to sell houses and put them up for leasing and renting, and that's actually where I bought the house from. Well, by bought I mean kidnapped 7 people to room into a house share at 500 so we could pay $3.5 grand together. So, the argument that I'm making here, and it's a simple one to follow if you'll just hear me out, is what if this house was bought by the McEthelberts? Back when they were originally just leasing houses privately before they started the equity firm that is now owned by a multi-million-dollar company in the States, what if they just got the house to flip themselves, never flipped it, and then when they died, the house was put onto a will that was eventually then sold to the Hamiltons? It's not an unlikely story. But that doesn't explain the Hamiltons' death. That doesn't explain what this house's significance is to the Ethelberts, and why Robert Ethelbert's book is just sitting on the desk. His book about letting houses. I don't know. Huh? Huh? Strange. I could have sworn Grandfather clock? I don't remember seeing one of them. Oh well, probably just a detail I missed. What? Kids' room? With bunk beds? But the Hamiltons didn't have any kids. So why is there a fully furnished, fully painted kids' room here? Huh. Okay. I should be asking more questions than I already am. Oh. Pleasant. Another kids' room, but again, they didn't have kids. Wait a minute. There was a line in that book on the very first page about his wife, and the fact that she desired to have 3 children. 2 lads who can grow old and great together, and a daughter who could love unconditionally, who would be there through the best and worst for the parents and for a future husband. Remember, it's the 1800s, really fucking weird time, trad families were normal, and if you think they're normal now, you're wrong. The point I'm making is, what if this wasn't just a property to flip? What if this was the Ethelberts family home? The McEthelberts bought the house and had it fully renovated with the intentions of having children here. But then the question remains, they never had kids. The Ethelberts died at 34. So why go through this much effort, and then how did the Ethelberts truly die? From my point of view, they seemed far too ready to just become accident prone and have something random happen. This had to be some coordinated attack. Okay, that's not glass shattering. That is a screaming woman, and after seeing what I believe to be a ghost, I'm fully intent on getting the fuck out of this house as soon as I can. So, I'm gonna go do that. I think that's an appropriate response. Huh? Let me out! 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 Please, just let me out! Just let me out! Just let me out! Just let me out! No! 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 Where am I? What is this place? Huh?
Ah, a visitor. It's been some time since footsteps have echoed in these halls without trembling. You, what do they call you? Wumpa, is it? A curious creature to wander so boldly into a place that's tried so very hard to be forgotten. I guess you're wondering why the windows shudder when there's no wind. Why do the floorboards groan like an old man remembering pain? Well, let me enlighten you. It's only polite after all.
Yeah, sure. Fuck it. I've got time. Hit me.
This house was supposed to be a sanctuary. Back in 1809, when Skegness was little more than the villages of sorrow and stubborn glass. My wife and I used to dream of filling these rooms with life. 2 strong sons. A beautiful daughter and a stable career. A peaceful home. We bought the land before people even knew what home ownership was. I spent months, writing these bloody rules myself. Leases, tenancies, ownership statutes. All boring nonsense now. But I was proud of it. We worked hard, we planned, we redecorated, renovated. We were so close. But envy is a sharper blade than steel. My wife had a friend once who soured like spoiled milk, jealously cuddled her. And one day, she whispered poison to a band of pillagers. That woman, she's a witch! A lie. A petty, fatal lie. Before we could finish this house, before we could begin a family, the horde came. They tore us apart, killed the one I love, and they left me tethered. Torn between memory and ruin, forever inside of the walls that I never lived. I didn't mean to keep people away at first. I only wanted to protect what little remained of life we dreamed of. But then, the Hamiltons arrived. In the 1940s, smiling, decorating, changing things. As if any of it belonged to them. So I gauged their fear, just a touch, a creak here, a whisper there, a suggestion of burglars. How readily human beings pursue their imagination even down the dark corridors. I didn't kill them directly. No. They ran to check on a noise I placed, just so. And gravity did the rest. And down the staircase they tumbled, leaving the house, my house, safe once more. Since then, they call this place cursed, haunted, a figment of folklore legend. But you, little wanderer, you walked right in. Bold and brash. No fear, no hesitation. Maybe you're here to trespass, maybe to explore. Or perhaps the house brought you here. It's lonely, you know. Edwin down the fucking hall, fat ass, eating all the food. Even spirits crave company. However fleeting it may be, but tell me. Now that you have found out, what do you intend to do? Shall you run away like the rest? Or will you stay? And risk becoming another story whispered in the dark? Choose wisely. The house and I. We remember everything.
I want to go home and eat Cheetos next to my wife while we watch the Owl House for the next 14 hours straight to forget everything that just happened.
Alright, fine, go.
Never. I'm never doing any of that again. Nope. No.